We got Francis back. We're back here.
Hello, everybody.
All right, today we are going to talk about the movie Friendship, which is currently in theaters. Ooh, hello, sir. Friendship, technically released in 2024, written and directed by Andrew DeYoung,
Was
rated
it
R.
in 2024?
That's what it said. That's what IMDb said. Runtime is an hour and 40 minutes. The synopsis is a suburban dad falls hard for his charismatic new neighbor.
True.
Spoilers ahead.
Yeah, I was like dying.
Paul Rudd got Riz.
Yeah, dude, Paul Rudd.
What's the character's name again? Austin?
I think that is right, yeah. Yeah, Paul Rudd is incredible. I love Paul Rudd. I also love how, like, his character just kind of lies about a bunch of shit, like, randomly. Like, I thought that was interesting. Like, they don't explore his character that much, and then, like, he's like, yeah, I don't have a phone. Like, I don't...
Oh,
you
yeah.
don't need that. And then he later on, he pulls out a phone, and he's like, wait, you have a phone? He's like, yeah, of course I do.
Yeah.
And it's, like, just, like, interesting little things about his character that they, like, end up choosing to dive into. Mostly about him being, like, a little bit fraudulent. The wig thing.
Oh, yeah. The what's it called? A toupee?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I, like, highly doubt that the like, thing that he pulls out, the spear tip,
the
like, this
arrowhead?
200,000 years,
Yeah.
or 400,000 years old.
I collect these old valuables or something. I forget what he said.
I remember, and then, what's the, oh, sorry, my cat is tweaking out right now.
Poor lady.
Yeah.
Her name's Lady.
She's in heat, which, she's okay. She's just gonna be doing that. And there, yeah.
Aw.
Anyway, what's the lead character's name again?
What's his name? The actor's name is Tim Robinson. Right?
Yeah.
And then his name is Craig.
Oh, it's Craig.
Waterman.
Dude, Craig is such a classic.
Craig.
Craig. Yeah, that scene is so funny when his nose just starts bleeding because it's so cool.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
like holding the rock and he's like, it's
Oh,
so
no,
cool.
it just hasn't happened before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah, I remember I don't remember the full opening, but they're at a support group, and Mara, her name is Tammy, and she's the wife of Craig, and Tammy goes on to, like, talk about her recovery from some kind of cancer.
Like leukemia or something.
Yeah. And she's like something about not being able to orgasm, and then Craig comes in and he's like, I've been orgasming just fine.
Yeah.
I think the opening was pretty funny.
Yeah, I was dying.
Yeah. I've seen I Think You Can Leave, like, some episodes, but it's not really my kind of humor, so I was like a little hesitant going into the movie.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of moments that I thought were funny.
Yeah. Yeah, it was one of those movies that I was like, I am happy I saw this in the theater. I feel like, especially, like...
It was a good crowd, too.
Yeah, it was. Horrors and, like, comedies that are, like, really good, I feel like, are, like... It's fun to actually, like, have, like, an experience of watching it with a bunch of people. It is different.
Yeah.
I mean, same thing with, like, you know, like, a certain blockbusters and stuff. But to be honest, there's a lot of movies that I kind of, like... People will be like, oh, you need to watch it in the theater, and I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
But this is one of those where I was pretty happy that I saw it in theaters.
I think it was funny. So, like, on my right-hand side, there was this pair of, like, dude friends.
Yeah.
And, like, I could hear them, like, giggling and cackling at all of these little things and, like, holding in their laughter. And I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah. The people to my left were also dying.
Yeah.
We were all, like, losing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good.
You hear, like, a little shriek in the front and someone,
It was fun. Yeah, and I feel like I'm forgetting, like, a lot of there was, like, a bunch of really funny moments in, like, the beginning after that opening sequence that I, like, can't really...
Oh, there was they're at Craig's house, and Tammy owns this, like, floral arrangement company, and somehow, like, the son comes in and they, like, kiss.
Right.
And I was like, I think you leaned over to me during the movie and you were like, we have a lot to unpack here, or something like that.
Oh, yeah, she kisses the son.
Yeah. Yeah, the son, like, yeah.
Like, on the lips in, like, a weird way. Kind of like the Tom Brady shit. I don't know if you remember that. Tom Brady be kissing his kids a little. We won't get into that, but
Yeah. That was pretty crazy.
Yeah, that was wild and really funny. I feel like also, there's a lot of characters in this where they don't unpack the character very much, and they'll just like drop like little crazy things on you. Like the son, for example, like that, and then also like him just like having two girlfriends and being like, it's so hard to have two girlfriends.
Yeah.
It's so expensive. And you're just like, what is happening? And like
there's a whole other plot going on.
Yeah, you don't get much information on him though. That's just like part of like the story, which I thought was funny.
It's kind of like the friends or the coworkers for both Austin's friends and then the coworkers that work with Craig.
Right.
You're just like, there's so many people like.
Yeah, and
figuring
also
out who they are.
There were a lot of really cool people from this, like, kind of comedy scene. Like, they had, I'm gonna blank on his name, but he's a comedian. He was in How to Start a Cult, which is like another comedy that came out. It was like an indie comedy that came out recently by Stavros Halkias, which is a banger. He was the friend who. Was I can find him, just keep going. Okay, is that? No, it's not him. He's like a very minor. He was one of the dudes that he invited over from work.
Okay.
And he's basically the one being like, your drums are stupid. Like right off the bat.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fun to see like a lot of comedians that I like that clearly I'm not that tapped in on. But it was fun to see them in this. Like I'd seen them in other stuff, like other little indie comedies that I liked a lot. And it was fun to see that. Click.
Trying to find my points. So we saw it in a movie, so I didn't get to write down any of my thoughts.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm just trying to like remember. I wrote down the editing parts. Like there's a part where it like there's a circular mask on Craig's face, and it like zooms in and it goes to another shot, and it's like kind of like weird.
Yeah.
Little things, very quirky.
I also feel like they're like. It was like a comedic style that like genuinely made me like very uncomfortable at times and like sometimes scared.
Okay.
Like when like he's like running through the sewer, I was like, this is actually scary. Like
He lost his phone so many times.
I think he breaks his phone three or four times in the movie.
Yes, and then he has to go to what's his name, T. The drug dealer at the phone store, and he has the rat tail.
Yeah, T. All right, I'm gonna pull up the cast.
Okay.
It's like T. It's not T. I don't know. It's something funny. Yeah, the rat tail is. I love that guy. He like seems relatively normal. And then he's like, "You want to buy some drugs?
If you need anything stronger, let me know."
Yeah.
That's what he says.
When he goes to buy the drugs from him, the guy turns around, you see the rat tail, and you're like, "Oh, this is a different kind of person than I thought."
Yes.
It's so funny. Yeah, here, let me pull up the cast now. There we go. Let's see if it gives me everybody. Eric Rahill is the guy I was talking about earlier, who is in How to Start a Cult. Also, Connor O'Malley's in it, who I really love a lot of his comedic shorts. He's like a true freak of nature. Maybe more of a freak of nature than Tim Robinson. But yeah. Let's see. What was...
And you also leaned over to me when during like the part where Craig comes in, when he's like finally like, I need something else. I need something stronger.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Tony, Lil T, I remember his
I don't remember
his name.
nickname.
But he like sets up like, here's a box, and he like lays down in the back of this store, and he licks this toad, and the lick costs $100.
Yeah.
And he just licks it. And what happens during his trip?
Dude, he goes to Subway and orders like the most boring sandwich you could
Something
order
ham.
at Subway.
Yeah.
So he's like, can I have a Black Forest ham on like herbs and cheese? It's so good.
And that's it.
And then the kid who sold him the toad venom was like, how many years were you in there? You know, like what was it like? And he's like, I went to Subway. And he's like, oh, okay. And then like did they give you a message? And he's like, no, I bought a sandwich.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Like, you really think that something, like, meaningful is going to happen, and it doesn't. Yeah, that part really got me. Oh, you are tiny when you do that. But yeah, I thought that, like, there wasn't really any cast member where I was like, this was a bad decision. Like, everybody was pretty perfect. And yeah, Connor, I think it's Connor, or is it Connor? Yeah, Connor O'Malley, his whole thing where it's this guy. He comes in, like, randomly for no reason in the film, and just goes up to Tim Robinson while he's playing the drums. Like, Tim Robinson's, like, hiding from his wife and all of her friends. And he's like, oh, cool drum set. And then Tim Robinson's like, oh, yeah, thanks. And then he's like, by the way, you need to treat your wife better. And just, like, goes on this crazy rant. And then, like, he goes on another rant later about how cool his wife is. And about how, like, they should never have left Afghanistan.
Oh, that's at the party where they're like, oh, Tammy's back. She's alive because she got lost in the tunnels.
In the sewers, yeah. Oh, dude.
Yeah, because Austin somehow already knows about these underground tunnels and that lead to the city hall. So he brings Craig, and then Craig's like, I need to do something, like, fun with my wife. And so... Or because he's feeling left out, he takes his wife, and then she gets lost, and it's like days until she's found.
And she also orgasms in the tunnel for no reason. She's like, I orgasmed in the tunnel, and also we're breaking up.
Yes,
it's crazy.
Yeah, I read on IMDb that she did get lost briefly while filming. Yeah,
oh my
while
God,
filming
that's crazy.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny.
That is pretty funny. Yeah, I'm trying to think. There's so much. It's like, there's a lot to the movie, but it's like a lot of stuff that, like, mostly isn't related to the plot, and it's like more about, like, the world being bizarre, and like everyone in the world being bizarre, and like clearly being their own kind of freak that you get just a little window into, which I thought was fun.
Oh yeah, and it all starts because he gets the wrong package. I'm like, y'all need a new mailman.
True. Yeah, he keeps getting the wrong package. Also, like, I guess, like, I feel like the like overarching plot is essentially that Tim Robinson is spiraling. Like, he's, like, severely mentally ill. And, like, I don't know. He's, like, extremely lonely and extremely mentally ill. And
his life is just very, like, mundane, because there's a point where Tammy, like, she's like, every night you sit in that chair.
Right.
So he's trying to find something new.
Yeah. I mean, he kind of, like, also, he does kind of become, like, the like, crazy, lonely white guy who pulls a gun. Like, it is...
Like, he literally pulls a gun after he stole it from Austin.
Yeah, it goes... That's, like, kind of the trajectory, is, like, it starts off and he's pretty lonely, finds one friend, realizes what he's been missing out on for all these years, and then just fully spirals out of control.
Well, it's also because... isn't it because he, like, overdoes it with the relationship, and then he's trying to, like... Austin tries to give him boundaries. But then he's like, no, like, you're crazy. I don't want to be friends with you.
I mean, it's kind of going fine until he punches him in the face.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, I mean, honestly, like, Austin's, like, extremely accepting of him.
Yeah.
Like, he's a massive freak of nature. And Austin and his friends, who are also pretty weird.
They start singing in the garage.
Yeah.
All together.
What do they sing again? It's something really funny.
I don't remember.
It's something.
It's very
really
popular.
Good. It's like, I'll be there for you or something.
Maybe. I don't remember.
But point being, they're like shockingly accepting of this incredibly bizarre man. And then they end up doing like boxing for fun. And he's just kind of getting rocked and like not good at boxing. And so then they're like, all right, let's stop the match. And then Tim Robinson's character just clocks Austin in the face for like no reason.
Isn't it the back of his head?
Is it the back of... I thought it was his face. I might be wrong.
Because he's like, oh, let's call it tonight for boxing, and then he turns around.
Oh, that you might be right. But yeah,
He essentially takes a cheap shot.
Yeah, like they're not boxing anymore, and he now is just punching this guy,
Yeah.
and then they're like, "All right, you need to go." And yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
And then he does the weird soap thing. He's like, I'm sorry, I've been a bad boy.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
He like punishes himself, but he finds this bar of soap, puts it in his mouth, and then he's like starts saying like, I'm a bad boy.
With the bar of soap
I'm sorry or something. Yeah. And then they're all like weirded out.
Yeah, because it also
like that's the extent.
It's extremely weird, but it also like doesn't even make any sense.
No.
Yeah, but also they do give him a lot of leeway. Like he walks through a glass door and like shatters it, and they like still want to hang out with him. You know, like like they are like shockingly nice to him. And yeah, he like this. If this character was ever gonna have friends, it would have been that group of friends. Like no one else would have been that accepting of this person. Yeah, which I thought was like an like it was like clearly he was doomed. Like he was not meant to have friends or like a successful relationship of any kind. He's just so mentally ill. Not to say that like I'm not saying like, you know, he in real life if someone's that mentally ill they can probably get some help, but like I think in the context of this movie that was kind of the idea is like I don't know how much help you can give this guy.
Yeah. To put it in like I was going to ask, and then you started talking about the gun and the shooting part, but I was like, have you ever had, like, that kind of friendship situation happen before?
Where someone pulled a gun on me?
No, where, like, they, like, accept you, and then they just, like, reject you.
What do you mean? Like, you mean, like...
Sorry, let's do it backwards. So I asked the question. But, yeah, it has happened to me. So, like, I was introduced to a group of friends, a group of people, and they were, like, really accepting. They used... they had pronouns for me when I was like still figuring myself out, and then like stuff happened, and then like I got iced out.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And we don't talk to each other anymore.
I've been iced out. I've iced other people out. Yeah, I mean. Yeah.
I guess that's the truth or the reality behind the movie, but they bring it to like bizarre
extremes.
Yeah, because Craig, he's like, you can't do that. You can't just accept someone and then, what does he say?
Oh, right.
He crashes out in the garage. Gun. Or no, yeah. Something like that.
Yeah, I think it's when he has the gun out. He's like, you were so accepting of me. And then, you know, like, you made me feel too comfortable. And I was too honest about who I am. And then you didn't accept me anymore. Which, I guess that's true. I guess that kind of is what it's about.
Yeah, there is like a fundamental like, truth in it.
Right.
But of course, he's like, crashing out, and he has this gun that he stole.
Right, he's pulled a gun on them.
Yeah. What he makes them like say something that I don't know about you or something.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's like.
Yeah.
Very aggressive. Like I want to know you.
Yeah.
I have to get to know you.
And they're all like terrified for their lives.
Yeah.
And then Paul Rudd, Austin, he like tries to get the gun from him, and then like. He shoots the gun, and then they all hit the floor, and Paul Rudd's toupee falls off. And, like, Tim Robinson, like, throughout the whole thing, like, 2 different times, Paul Rudd's toupee falls off, and Tim Robinson is like, I got you. And, like, he's like, yelling at everyone with the gun. He's like, stay on the ground, eyes on the floor. And Craig stays loyal to Paul Rudd's character, Austin, and basically... Every time he loses the toupee, he like fully covers for him. Like when he has the gun out, he's like, "Everyone, eyes on the floor," and then he like looks at Paul Rudd's character. He's like, "Fix it." Yeah. He's like, "It's good."
Yeah, the first time it happens is when they're in jail, and Austin is like, "Craig, this has to be our little secret," and he's like committed to that.
Yeah, well, he calls him the next day also, and he's like, "We're gonna keep this on the low."
Oh, yeah.
And, like, acts, like, all nice about it, and he's so hyped that he called him. Yeah, and then I think you were also talking about how, I don't know if we caught this, but you were talking about how, like, kind of the overarching theme is, like, being accepted into a group and then...
Being rejected from it.
Yeah, being rejected from it because you're, like, you feel too free.
It's like like when you're accepted into a group, like you think you're like accepted for who you are, and then they reject you and they ice you out, and you're like, what did I do wrong?
Right.
It's like
right.
being like kind of attacking your person,
Right.
or because you know sometimes like you don't get closure.
Sure. And Tim Robinson's character definitely does not know what he did wrong, unfortunately. Although it is pretty clear.
Yeah. It's a weird guy.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious.
Everything that I've seen from Tim Robinson has seen him as a character. So like I've before this I watched one talk show video of him and like, oh, like he understands he's playing a character, but he is like a kind of a quirky guy.
I would imagine he's probably like pretty weird in real life.
Yeah. But like he's smart enough to know that like that's a character.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. But yeah, I mean, overall, I liked it a lot. I thought it was a great movie. I was fucking dying.
It's a good laugh.
Yeah, and yeah, I don't know. It's interesting to think about, like, it's kind of a hard thing to unpack, like, what the message is, but I think you're on point.
I forget, how does it end?
It ends with him, he has, like, he's in the car, he's getting arrested, and then he has, like, a moment of...
Oh, the fantasy.
Yeah, fantasy where, like, everything worked out and, like, wasn't weird. And he was friends with them. And then it, like, cuts to him in the cop car. And he's, like, looking at Austin. And then Austin, like, gives him a little wink. And he's, like, super happy. Mm-hmm. He's like, oh, my God, he still likes me.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, he's, like, gonna go to jail for probably, like, at least a decade.
Right.
Does it end up... I think it might also... Does it show?
Well, the wife leaves too, I think, and they're trying to move, but.
Well, he was like about to like maybe get her back, and then he proceeded to go.
He does something with the van. Oh, we forgot about the whole thing about the speed bump.
Oh, and also the whole thing about the speed bump and the whole thing about the van.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He at the very beginning, you see him walk down the street delivering his neighbor's package, and there's a speed bump that he walks over, and he's the reason that it's there.
Right. Right.
Because people would zoom down the street and go too fast.
Right. And then, yeah.
The whole mayor thing. Because he runs in, like, apps and stuff.
Oh, dude, yeah, his job. I forgot about his job. His job is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he explains his job to Austin, it's so funny. Because he's like, yeah, we like to, we create apps that, you know, hold people's attention. And basically they have a really hard time feeling normal when they stop using the app because, you know, we've hacked into their dopamine systems.
Mm-hmm. So addiction.
Yeah, he's like, that sounds problematic. And he's like, yeah, what's the term he uses?
We prefer not to, or something like...
like, oh man, it's like attention hijacking or something like that. It's something funny. But yeah, basically he has like an incredibly evil job that they kind of just like sidestep the entire time.
Yeah. And then, well, another plot point is that the mayor works with his company to try to like be engaging and appeal to, you know, just people who like have the app or whatever.
Right.
And he crashes out because his coworkers like overstep him or...
Yeah, his coworker like...
they all decide to ice him out and they do their own little project.
Right. His...
And then he's like, I hate you, the mayor's like, it took too long to get the speed bump. It's like, you didn't help me at all.
Yeah, and he's like trying to fight the mayor.
Yeah.
And they have to remove him forcibly.
Yes.
There's also a very funny part of that scene where like in the middle of his pitch, he's just like, fuck, I fucked up, fuck, I have to start over, fuck.
Yeah, and then he goes back, yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
But... Yeah, there's the mayor plot point.
Oh, and then the wife, she has this small car, and because she has a flower arrangement business, she always complains that she needs a bigger car.
Right.
So near the end, Craig does a nice thing, and he gets a big van for her business, but then he takes it out.
Yeah.
And he goes too fast.
Well, she's like, you want to take the van for a spin. He's like, yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
And he proceeds to fly over the speed bump that he got put in.
Yeah.
Fuck up the van.
He attempts to hit that bright yellow, nice car of Austin's.
I thought that was weird. I was like, why does he want to do that? Like, what's the logic there?
I think he wants to, he's angry at him, so he wants to destroy something nice of his. But because he, floors it, he hits the speed bump and misses the car entirely.
And, clearly destroys the van immediately.
Yeah.
And then he goes in with the gun. Yeah, there's, a million little side plots. But I feel like it's mostly about him not being able to form connections that are normal.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, also when he gets fired from his job and becomes a meter maid, which is absolutely crazy.
It's very, they don't really touch on it. You see it, but it's very, light.
Yeah. Yeah, it is interesting what they choose to highlight. I feel like it's mostly about, most of what they show you is about him, really, really wanting to connect with people and just being completely unable to. Mm-hmm. I don't know what exact, type of... He clearly is supposed to have some form of mental illness. His wife calls him a narcissist at one point. But I don't know that he's a narcissist. There's, maybe a little... There's something else going on there.
My brain is just wanting to say, this bro is autistic.
I don't even know if that's what it is, though. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. But
there's something about him.
Yeah, he's clearly supposed to be severely
off.
Mentally ill. And, he has some problems that he probably needs a doctor for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is one realistic point. It's I've done this in the past. It's that thing with Craig and Austin about the toupee, how he's oh, I still got you. It's sort of putting yourself I'm still going to do this for you, putting yourself in that position, but it's not reciprocated.
Sure.
It's oh, I want to be needed, that sort of thing.
Yeah, totally, yeah. I feel you.
And overdoing that, yeah.
Yeah, and clearly...
And it's not working.
Yeah, it's clearly this guy's not going to be your friend. But, yeah, he's still trying. He still really wants Austin to be his friend. Also, Austin is low-key, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he has, some character faults that they point out, but, overall, I'm I would hang out with this guy. This guy's a weirdo, but I'd be down with it. Yeah,
he's upset that he's the nighttime weatherman, and then he goes to the morning news, but he's oh, I have so much pressure. They're all so, on top of it here.
Right.
But then also the newscast lady, she's giving him notes or something, comments on his performance. I'm that's not your job.
Right.
But that's kind of besides the point.
Well, they're just really mean to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is also, there's also a factor of it that's definitely Craig's fault in that he pulls up on the first day after he had that extremely awkward moment the night before where he punched this guy in the face and is just on the set. Mm-hmm. And that he had Paul Rudd's character stutters and fucks something up, which then, because it's they're all weird morning news people in some part of the Midwest who this is the most important thing in the world to them, that I think is supposed to be the thing that kind of kicks them off on being oh, fuck this guy, mm-hmm. He's not cutting
it's you can't do that. He doesn't understand.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah, he does not. Yeah, he definitely does not understand traditional social cues and
autistic.
Yeah, but I feel there's something else too. I feel that's not it. You know, it's
mental illness and friendship.
Yeah, he definitely is autistic, or he's. I could see that he's supposed to be autistic, but there's also more going on.
Right. Yeah. He's neurodivergent.
Yeah.
For sure.
I could see the argument that he's autistic and has BPD or something. Because his actions are extremely erratic.
Impulsive.
Yeah. He does do things that he does know are probably not the move.
Yeah.
Yeah, like at one point he just breaks into Austin's house and like steals his gun, and like he's definitely aware that he's made a pretty massive error.
Yeah, I like how has that another package that's delivered to him, but it's not for him; it's for Austin.
Right.
But he chucks it over the fence. He's like, "Oh, now I have to go get this package."
Right.
And then
yeah.
he breaks in. He doesn't really break in because he broke the window or the
Right.
sliding door.
Right. He just walks
But so he just
in.
goes in.
Yeah, that was so funny. Like, because like he's like clearly like throwing it over because he's gonna hop the fence, and he's just like,
Yeah.
and then it's like then he
Flings
starts
it.
hopping a fence, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay, you have not made this less suspicious.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah, I guess this movie sort of begs the question of like, let me think, how far into getting to know someone, or like how do you stop being friends with someone
That too, yeah, definitely.
without
yeah.
being like, I don't like you anymore, just being like, it's kind of like Banshees of Inisherin. I don't know if you've seen
I
that.
haven't. No.
I thought it was also kind of silly, but it's kind of true. I've found.
Okay.
Where it's like, so in that movie, they're friends. One guy is like, I don't want to be friends with you anymore.
Sure.
And then the guy's kind of confused, so he keeps trying to talk to him. And so the guy's like, if you keep bothering me, I'm going to cut off my fingers. And he does.
Whoa.
And it's kind of like, what? Yeah. So I guess, yeah, how do you successfully end a friendship?
Yeah, Paul Rudd does a pretty
Not being
good,
mean.
I feel like Paul Rudd does a pretty good job. And then like Tim Robinson just like cannot handle it.
It hurts.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, to be real, like, yeah, I've never. I'm trying to think. I guess there are people I have been like, I probably can't hang out with you anymore because of your actions. But for the most part, I feel like it's like fairly easy to like have a friendship that isn't like you don't know them that well yet, like.
You just let it pass.
Yeah, you just kind of let it fizzle.
Yeah.
But
But
they did just meet. Like, I don't know, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, but
It's kind of like dating apps where it's like, oh, let's hang out. And then you're kind of like, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Like, how do you do that?
Right.
And then you just ghost them.
yeah,
I don't, yeah.
yeah, it's hard.
It's an interesting thing, I think, to bring up.
Yeah, Paul Rudd honestly like was very straightforward and like did a good job of it. Mostly
Yeah.
because he was forced to, because like Tim Robinson just like pulled up at his house the next day
Yeah.
and was like, "Let's hang out." Yeah. Oh, that whole drum kit thing also is crazy. He like buys this drum kit to go play music with Austin, and then like immediately tanks their friendship, and then he's just like now has these drums that he doesn't know how to play.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. But yeah.
I would give this movie a 2.5 out of 5.
Sure. Honestly, this is kind of a crazy take, but I'd probably give it like an 8 out of 11.
That's fair, yeah.
I like it a lot.
This is your kind of comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think it hits on a lot of like realistic points, but it's also kind of just like a big YouTube video. In a sense.
Yeah. I don't know. There's something about like. I do feel like they actually do kind of an insanely good job of hitting on kind of in like the perspective of like Austin's character and be like, oh, this is like so real, like this shit that happens. Or I'd be in the and like weirdly I'd be in the perspective of Tim Robinson's character and be like I like obviously I would never do what he's doing, but I like know the feeling or something. And like
it's relatable.
Yeah, but in a way that like made me like deeply uncomfortable throughout it, which I appreciate. I'm like,
I feel like that's Tim Robinson though.
Yeah, that's true, but I just respect it when someone can like take like a movie and like make me actually really uncomfortable. I don't think that's necessarily easy. So, I respect it.
Yeah, I did really like it. I put on my Letterboxd review. I was just like, I'm really glad this made my friend happy because you were
I was
cracking
dying.
up. Yeah.
I was dying.